In this video, we're going to look at the 2018 Higher Level Technical Graphics Section A. So, on question 1 here, we have images of different types of shapes, and we have a list over here on the right hand side of the names of the different shapes. So you have to match up the shapes with the image. So the first one is a hexagon. A hexagon is a 6-sided figure. Parallelogram has opposite sides that are parallel. So the top and bottom are parallel, and the left side and the right side are parallel. An octagon has 8 sides, and a trapezoid has 4 sides. None of them are parallel. Down here, in question 2, you have an incomplete perspective. So you have to complete the perspective. Now, this corner here is joined a light line to the vanishing point on the right hand side. This corner here is joined on to the left hand vanishing point. The VP stands for vanishing. Where they cross over, that's the back corner of that object. Now, if you look at the diagram over here, this corner here, if you bring it straight down, that gives you the bottom right hand corner of the image. So what I did here is I joined this vanishing point to this point here. I extended it out to this line here, and I dropped a perpendicular or vertical line down there in order to find that one. Then I joined that one back up to this corner here. So it gives me these 2 points here. So I joined them up to the vanishing point on the right hand side, and then I shaded in the remainder. Down here in question 3, it gives you, there's a number of angles that are unknown. So angle A, if you look at that's a triangle there, so those 3 angles must add up to 180. So 80 and 50 adds up to 130. If you take that away from 180, you're left with 50. So A is 50 degrees. These 3 angles here add up to 180 degrees also. So if that's 50 and that's 60, that's 110. 110 away from 180 gives you angle B, which is 70. Now, this angle here, these two added together is equal to angle C. So that's 60 and 50 is 110. That angle there, that total angle from this point round to here, that's the same as that angle up there, 110. In question 4, you're asked to draw the elevation, you're given the elevation in end view, and you're asked to draw a 3D freehand pictorial sketch. So that's the sketch over there, and that's it shaded in. It's important that you count the spaces. So if you look here between the legs of this barbecue, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces here. And if you look over here in my 3D, there's 5 spaces there as well in between. So the areas that I felt that were maybe hidden, I made them dark. And the areas then that would be sort of exposed to the light, I made them a bit lighter. So you can use colours also. If you want to use colouring pencils, you can colour it in using colouring pencils. In question 5, it shows they want you to convert the triangle ABC into a rectangle of equal area. So from the top of the triangle, I drew a vertical line down there to get my height. And then I put my pin on the top and at the bottom, and I drew 2 arcs to the right, 2 arcs to the left to bisect the height. So that I'm getting half, this here is half of the height. So I drew my bisector across there horizontal, and I drew a vertical line from C up to that, and a vertical line from A up there, and I completed my rectangle. So if you look closely here, this wee triangle here is the same as that little triangle over there. This triangle here is the same as that triangle over there. So you're just actually moving that triangle over here to the left. You're moving this wee triangle away from the top over here to the left, so it maintains the same area. And this one here, question 6, you want to rotate the gable ABCD about the point O. So I put my pin of the compass on O, stretched it up to C, drew an arc down onto the LL line, and I got this point, and I wanted to create I did the same with the other points as well. So I measured the distance then from D to C, and I got halfway to get that point there. So from that there is D hitting the line LL. That's going to be point C. So just complete that question 6 as best you can. Question 7 is an auxiliary. Now this is a tricky enough one. So I drew all my lines from the plan up at 90 degrees, up here at 90 degrees to the X1, Y1 line. So they were all drawn lightly, and I projected them on up past the X1, Y1 auxiliary line. The heights here in the elevation are going to be the same as the heights in the auxiliary. So if I measured that height there, and these points were the same height on the auxiliary, I measured the height to here, and that gave me these 2 points as well. So have a go at doing that as best you can. The elevation and plan of the date stamp are shown. In the space provided, draw a freehand pictorial sketch of the stamp. So over here on the space, draw this. A lot of students tend to draw this very small, but draw it as big as you can. Shade it in. Areas that you think that are in shade, shade them dark. Areas that you think maybe are exposed to light, keep them light. So if you see this area here, it's a wee bit darker than the front face. Okay. Question 9. Write down any 3 CAD commands used to edit the drawing of the hall mirror. So if you look at the first one, you just have your center line, your vertical center line, and your horizontal center line. So from this image to this image, you can see that there was an ellipse drawn. So the ellipse in SolidWorks is, the command is sketch ellipse. So that's what was happened there. There was an ellipse sketched in that, based on those 2 center lines. In the second drawing, you can see D. So D probably stands for dimension. So the command in SolidWorks is smart dimension. In this third drawing, you can see a similar ellipse drawn inside the big ellipse. So if you want to draw another shape inside a shape that's already there or outside, the offset command is the command that you use there. And then in this here, you have a 2D, 2-dimensional drawing. And now over here on the right, you have a 3-dimensional drawing. The command for that is extrude. Moving on to question 10. You're shown a 3D of the a triangular prism there, and a sphere, and they're both touching one another. Okay, now draw a plan, the plan of the sphere, and locate the point of contact. So there's the sphere in the elevation. So there's the center point of the sphere. So the center point of the sphere in plan is going to be directly below that. So I just drew a vertical line down, and I can extended this short center line out here. And where the 2 of them met, that gives me the center point for the sphere. The radius of the sphere will be the same in elevation and in plan. So I took that radius there, put the pen of my compass in the center, and drew me plan of me sphere. Now, to find the point of contact, I drew a line from the center at 90 degrees. You can see the 90 degree symbol there to this surface here. And where they met, that gives me the point of contact in elevation. And to get that point of contact in plan, I just drew a vertical line down in plan there, and where it meets that horizontal center line going across there, that's the center line. Now, because the sphere rolls over that prism slightly, there's going to be broken lines in plan. So this line here is a broken line. There'll be a small wee bit of a broken line there, a small wee bit at the top, but that main vertical line is going to be broken because the sphere sits over the top of the prism. In question 11, you have an elliptical shape there, and it's based on a telephone logo. So they want you to draw the ellipse ABC. So what I did there was, if you take the measurement, if you add from the focal point to the point of contact, and then from the point of contact to the other focal point, if you add those 2 distances, that gives you the length of the major axis. So FP, I measured that there, F1P, that's 35, and PF2, from there to there, I measured that, and I got 75. So that gives me a major axis of 110. So there's the centre of the major axis. So we'll go 55 to the right and 55 to the left. And after that, then I set up my trammel. So my trammel then, I lay my trammel down here like this. Mark P over on the left hand side, this is the minor axis. So I mark that and I call it my MIN for minor. Then I put my pin at the top. So pin or P at the top, and I mark this is the major axis running across here. So I mark that and I call that major. Before I get that, I need to find the top. So what you do is you take the half the major axis, like that there. You put the pin on one of the focal points and you strike an arc up there, and that'll give you the top of the minor axis up there, like that. Okay, I did it from the other side earlier on. Once you have your trammel set up, you can go along and you can mark off points. Keep the minor point on the minor axis, keep the major point on the major axis, and just keep spinning around there, and you'll be able to locate points along the curve on both sides. Get as many as you can. You know, don't get too many. It takes too long. And draw on the ellipse then after that. Question 12. The graphic below shows stacking puzzles. So what you have to do, if you look at it there, there's a dark one, a light one, and a kind of an in-between one. So if you look, the in-between one here is the top, so that's B over there. The light one is at the top, so that's C over there. The dark one is at the top, so that's A over there. That's question 12. Question 13 next. You have points of contact. So show clearly all of the points of contact. So to find points of contact, you have to join center points. If you take that center point to there and join to that center point up there, you'll get a point of contact where it crosses over the curves. If you join that center point to there, that's the second one. If you join that center point to there and continue on out, you'll get a third one. Join that center point to this one, continue on out, you'll get a fourth one. And there are two other points of contact where the curve here on the right hand side meets the horizontal line. So you draw a vertical line down here. You can see the 90-degree symbol. Vertical line down, and you get a point of contact here on the right. Vertical line down from that center point, you get a point of contact on the left. Question 14. Draw a well-proportioned freehand sketch of the elevation of the camera viewed in the direction of the arrow. So there's the camera in 3D. There's the arrow looking in to the front. And here's the sketch in the space on the right hand side. Draw it as best you can. Freehand. When it says you have to draw it in freehand, it means you do it without rulers. Question 15. 24 tourists. So that's the total is 24 tourists. You get that by adding up all the numbers here. So you've 24 tourists. You have to represent them in a pie chart on the right hand side. So if the UK represents 12 of the 24, that's half. So I just do a vertical line down through the pie chart, and my left hand side represents UK tourists. 6 out of 24 is a quarter. So that's a quarter of the pie. Horizontal line across here, that represents United States tourists. Germany and France then are both 3 and 3. That there is an eighth. So that's a 45-degree angle down there. And one section of it is German tourists and the other is French tourists. Now that should be coloured in as well. So if you want to colour in, you know, red, green, yellow, whatever colours, it doesn't matter what colours. So colour that in to represent the pie chart for the tourists. That's it.